Want to add some new sounds to your soloing without learning a million new scales? Well, the secret is 2-string triads. These little shapes are versatile, they're simple, and they're perfect for weaving melodic ideas into your lead playing. In this video, you're going to learn all about 2-string triads, how to find them, how to use them, and how to apply them in a way that makes your soloing sound more musical and more expressive. By the end of the video, you'll have a powerful tool for creating better, more melodic solos on guitar. Before we get into the video, if you could quickly like this one right now, I'd really appreciate it. It'll push it out there into the world of YouTube. And if you like the content I release each week and you haven't already, I'd really appreciate your subscription to the channel. All right, let's get to it. So you're probably familiar with 3-string triads. This is where we play little shapes across 3 strings of the guitar. So I'm playing little G major triads here. We can play them on different string sets. And so typically that's how we learn triads. And I've got a video, if you're new to triads, that you can check out. I'll link in the top right corner now. Don't watch it right now, you're fine to do this video, but then go back to that one and it'll deepen your understanding of triads. But basically, I'm going to play G major triads here. And typically, as I said, we play them on adjacent strings, 3 strings. What I'm going to do here is convert the triads, the 3-string triads, into 2. So if I take this G major triad here in pretty much an open position, right? I've got a G, I've got a B, I've got a D. That third note, the top note of the triad, D, I'm going to put onto the 5th string. So it's going to be on the same string as the 3rd of the chord, the B. So instead of this, we get this. Okay, it leads itself a little bit more to soloing because you can't really play the full triad when you've got 2 of the notes on 1 string. Here we can play it as a chord because they're all on different strings. Here we can't so much because 2 of the 3 notes are on the same string. So it kind of lends itself a little bit more to soloing, even though you can of course use the 3-string shapes for soloing as well. Okay, but these I guess are a little bit more designed for that. So if I go to root position G, 3-string version up here, the 7th position with the root note on the 10th fret, same thing. I take that high D and I put it on the 4th string. So I get this now. So from this, I get this. Okay, if I move to root position G major triad on string set 4, 3, 2, so G, B, and D, again that D on top, I move to join the B on the 3rd string, and that D is going to be at the 7th fret. So instead of this, I get this little 2-string triad, okay? And then finally, let's go up to G major here, which is up in the 10th position, root note on the 12th fret of the 3rd string, and we can again take that high D and put it on the same string that the B is on, up 3 frets from where the B is at the 15th, and we get a little 2-string triad. Now, as well as root position, we can do the inversions as well. So again, if you're familiar with triads, you'll know that we can play triads in root position, but we can also play them inverted, meaning the notes of the triad change. Okay, now I'm not going to do them all over the fretboard because that will take a long time. I'm just going to do it on a single string set here. So string set 4, 3, 2. So I've got the root position triad, and we already converted that to a 2-string version, right? But then we've got our second inversion G major triad here with B in the bass. And now I can do the same thing by taking the G, which is now on top, and putting that on the same string as the D to get a 2-string version. Now, sometimes you're going to have more than one way to play this. You could do it like this, or you could take that B note and put it on the D note and put it on the same string as the B, and you get this shape. So you could play it like this, or you could play it like this. And in fact, with that root position, you could play it like this, or you could play it like this, by taking the B, in this case, and putting it on the same string as the root. So there's a couple of different ways. You might find one easier than the other, so you might opt for that, or it depends on the context as to which one you might choose. And then you've got the second inversion G major triad up here at the 12th position with D in the bass. So here we have D, G, B. So we take the B and put it up at the 14th fret. So we can do that, or we could take the G and put it on the same string as the D and keep the B where we placed it, and we get this version. You probably will find this one easier and a bit more practical. but it's good to know that this one exists as well. So this can be done all over the fretboard with all the inversions of the triads, and it just multiplies time and time again. Don't get overwhelmed by that. You don't have to know this all over the fretboard to be able to use it. You can just focus on one little area and get use out of it and then expand from there. When we have the root position, two-string triad and the inversions, we then get little we can connect them together essentially. So I could have my root position here, or perhaps I'll play it like this. I'll play it like that. And then I've got first inversion, and then second inversion. So we get these little runs that move horizontally up the fretboard and down the fretboard. Okay, there's a lot you could do with that. Even just playing that as part of a solo could sound pretty cool, connecting, two positions together or two phrases together. Or we could move to the first and second strings, the top two strings here. This is all G major. This is the second inversion with the D, the lowest note in this two-string triad. Then root position, and then first inversion. So another little ascension up horizontally, if you like, and then back down. So once you've got the two-string triads of root, first and second inversion, you can now connect them horizontally on the fretboard across any two string set and see how they land and use them as ways to climb up and down the fretboard when soloing. Now, as well as moving horizontally up and down a string set with these two string triads, we can move diagonally across with a single two string triad shape. So if I take the root position in G and I play it on strings 6 and 5, I could then move up to the fifth position, 5th fret, where G is on the 4th string, and play the same shape. Then I could move up and across again to the 8th fret, 2nd string, where we have a G, and play the same note, and you get this. And we could come back down. Right, so you get this nice little diagonal shape. And if you think about it, you've got this G major triad here, and you've got this G major 3-string triad shapes here. These are sort of the bridges between those two. So if you've got this one here and this one here, the bridge is the 2-string triad to connect between the two shapes. That's how I sort of visualize it on the fretboard. So in the same sort of way, you've got your G major root position here, and you've got a G major second inversion here, and you've got this little 2-string shape that connects or bridges you into. It's a way of connecting from one into the other. Okay, so you've got like these triad shapes, 3-string, and you've got a connector, a little bridge between the two. And then you've got this one, and you've got this one, and you've got a little connector or bridge between those two, which happens to be the same shape. And you can play one after the other, of course, as I did, and get this sort of shape. Now let's look at this in the context of a key. So far we've just been looking at an isolated G major chord. We could assume it's the key of G major, but it could be any key that has a G major chord in it. Now I'm going to change key here for the purpose of being able to fit this better on the fretboard, what I'm about to demonstrate to you. So we're going to go to the key of F major. Now in the key of F major we've got the F chord, so we could play our little 2-string triads of F major, but we've got 6 other chords in that key, all of which we can play the 2-string triads. So if I work up 3-string triads on string set 4, 3, 2, you've got F, you've got G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, E diminished rather, back to F. So you can convert all of those triads into 2-string triads. So if we do that, here's F, we take the highest note and we put it on the 3rd string. There's your 2-string triad. You've got G minor. You take the top note and put it on the 3rd string as well to join the B flat of the chord. Same thing on A minor. Right, you get the idea? B major, so we're back to this major shape. Then C major, and we've got D minor. And we've got the E diminished, which is its own little unique 2-string shape, and then you're back to the F. So you can climb up and down the fretboard, staying within a key. So it gives you much more possibilities and connections with these shapes within a key, as opposed to just staying on a single chord. Okay, so if I put them together, F, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, E diminished, and F major. See how we can work our way up the fretboard there? and we could come back down. Okay, so notice that there's a shape for the major. Every time it's a major, it's this shape. When it's a minor, it's this shape. So there's really only two shapes to memorize here to work on that string set in F major, or any major key. It's going to be the same. The only one that's slightly different is the diminished chord that falls on the 7th of the key. Okay, and that's a simple little shape there, and then you're back to your major up the octave. So working up and down each string set, or picking one string set to start with, as I said before, don't try and do this on all string sets at once. Pick one string set to work with so you get the idea. And just practice playing up and down diatonically using two string triads. Now, I want to leave you here with some melodic ideas you can apply to these two string triads. And I'll take this as the framework, F major, playing the diatonic two string triads that we just went through. So you could do something like this. It's a little simple sequence. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm playing the two string triad, but before moving to the next one in the key, I'm returning to the root note of that triad, right? So this is F major, return to the root before getting to the G minor. Return to the root note before going to A minor, then into B flat, return to the root, C, all the way up to F. You can hear the sequence there, right? And we could do the same descend in the triad. This time I'm going to descend it and repeat the top note before moving to the next triad, like this. Okay, another idea would be to go up one two string triad and then down the next. So this is up or ascending F major, descending G minor, up or ascending A minor, coming down B flat major, up C, down D minor, up to the diminished E, and finishing on the F. Or we could do that coming down, so we could go down the triad of F, up E diminished, down D minor, up C, down B flat, up A minor, down G minor, and up the F. And this third idea is a little different. It's going to use a note outside of the key. Some of the times it'll be a note outside of the key, sometimes it'll be diatonic to the key, but the function of the note is the same, and that is it's stepping into the root note of the triad you're targeting. So F is our first triad. I'm going to come at it from the F fret below, and that note will be on the offbeat, and 1 and 2. So it goes like this. And then you approach half step below the next, which is A minor. Then you're going to stay on that note because you're only one fret away from the root of the B. Then approach the C, the D minor, the E diminished, and the F. So you get this. B flat to C. And in a similar way, you can do the same thing descending, but we'll approach the highest note, which will be the 5th of the chord, a half step below from the offbeat. So we get this. Okay. So let's just quickly hear how this sounds over a backing track in F, because the thing here is, just because I might be playing a G minor triad, or an A minor little two string triad, or B flat or C, etc. I don't have to save that triad waiting for a G minor chord or an A minor chord to come up in a progression. If we put all these notes together, we're just playing F major, and any note in F major will work over the backing track in the key of F. All these notes potentially work. You might find some notes are better to land on at certain times in the progression versus others, but it's not a matter of, oh, it's an F chord, better play my F triad. Now it's going to be an A minor chord, better play A minor. You can do that, but you don't have to be restricted to that. Okay, so here's a backing track in F, right? We've got an F chord to C, D minor, so it's just a 1, 5, 6, 4 to B flat. So I could just play here. All works, right? So see how that works, and I wasn't thinking of the chords so much and thinking I had to be on a certain triad. I was just playing across that sequence. You might right, do a little descending slide with those little triads. Right, or you could of our sequence. Right, just play around with it and just start by playing on top of the track. Just playing on top of the track and just hearing how it sounds, and then trying to mold something out of it. You can create little lines. You might start ascending and at some point you drop off and resolve into a chord tone of the chord at the time or something like that. You don't have to play it as one big chunk. You can use little parts of it. Okay, so I really encourage you to practice some of those sequences and then put a track on, play over the top, and just listen to how it sounds. Don't try and rush it. Don't try and do anything too great. Just listen and absorb and let it soak in. And as you get your technique up with these things, I think you're going to find them a really, really useful tool for your solo guitar playing. If you like this video, then you'll love this ebook audio from my Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar series titled Arpeggios. In this ebook, you will learn exactly what arpeggios are, how to visualize them on the fretboard, and several ways to use them in your guitar playing. I will run you through 3 key major arpeggio shapes and 3 key minor arpeggio shapes, and how each of these relate to each other on the fretboard so you can easily access them in your playing. Not only will you learn the conventional way of applying arpeggios to your guitar playing, but I will also show you how to instantly multiply your soloing possibilities with each arpeggio shape through arpeggio superimposition. This sounds complicated, but it's super simple. I will not only show you how all this stuff works on the fretboard, but also explain it to you so you can understand the theory behind it all. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar Arpeggios. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you would like to see in future videos, and indeed if you've got any questions on today's video, just put them down below and I'll be sure to get to them. I love to hear suggestions. A lot of them do become videos later on the channel, so don't be shy, drop us a line. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already and you like the content I release each week, then hit that subscribe button and the notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you so much for sticking around and checking this video out. I really do appreciate the time you take to do so, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.